The lies in mental gymnastics change more than one would change their underwear, and more than any other normality would, simply because the lies in mental gymnastics are absolutely fucking insane. Here's the shocking mass of nothingness behind a fictional creature in a child's video game. The drama mongerer behind this latest attempt at relevance is known for being a cancerous asshat, manufacturing drama and hate bait. Another thing this drama mongerer is known for are his endless arrays of wet dreams for Wolfglick. It also doesn't help that Wolfglick's channel is the antithesis of said individual's dead platform. One thing to note is that this individual claims that the Pokemon community deserves the truth. That's funny because any other time his character assassinating and childishly insulting the Pokemon community for whatever reason, but now they're deserving of this truth he speaks delusions of grandeur of. Alright, let's ask the plaintiff the important question. Do you have proof of the IVs though?
It's in the video. This is the literal Raichu Wolf used plus a copy that he tweeted.
You can go on Showdown to find out the exact IVs through Team Builder, and Wolfglick posted the spread on his old video. Who's going to look for this spread he posted in an old video? And keep this part in mind. Here's a good rebuttal. You drawing 1 out of 32 isn't proof of anything. He of course gets insulted even though the Pokemon community deserves the truth, and he goes off on another pointless tangent. Big surprise there. Alright, let's look at the shit post in question that is doing oh so well, by the way. So much for this truth that the Pokemon community deserves. I guess that's also why they're stupid. So what does this video show? Well, it shows that the drama mongerer finally learned how to do basic math. For those of you who don't know, a Pokemon is capable of having a perfect stat if they have 31 IVs in that stat. It's literally the potential the Pokemon has from best to worst. A Pokemon having 0 IVs in a stat means that that stat has the worst possible value it can have, and 31 means that it has the best possible value that that stat can have. All he proved is that this bullshit number that he got from finally learning how to do basic math is the amount of times that Wolfglick has to soft reset to get this allegedly perfect Raichu. Then he uses buzzwords as well as mental gymnastics like dubious, improbable, suspicious, all of these words that he then uses to prove his opinions as facts and supporting evidence of his claims because he hasn't proven any of his claims. Yet something else he has a history of inventing, proving that someone has to soft reset over 26 million times does not prove what you're alleging. He has yet to prove that this Raichu has perfect IVs in every single stat. And if you question that, you are actually stupid, but yet you deserve the truth. I didn't know insulting someone grants them some kind of deserve the truth. Let's do something that this individual claims that you can do to see the exact IVs on a Pokemon. Take a look at the Maryland IV calculator. Take a look at the Cypokes IV calculator. Yeah, I am as shocked as you are. This site still exists somehow. Take a look at the Picosite's IV calculator. And finally, take a look at the Cerebi IV calculator. Now, I'm going to do exactly what this individual claims you can do in any IV calculator, apparently, and put these values of this Raichu into every single one of those calculators and see if I can get the exact IVs this Raichu has. Alright, before I roll the drum, the values that I can put in are the ones that are obviously shown. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, here are the results. Starting with the Picosite's IV calculator. It doesn't look like this Raichu is any kind of perfect. Keep invalid value in mind because I'm going to get to why that is showing. However, the information that is shown gives us a range. Apparently, this Raichu has between 30 and 31 IVs in its attack stat and 28 to 29 in its special defense stat. That's according to this IV calculator. However, I'm receiving invalid values for the rest of its stats. What about Cypokes IV calculator? Well, I'm getting more of the same invalid stat errors. However, for its attack, once again, apparently this Raichu has between 30 and 31 IVs. There are some consistencies here as we see the results of Maryland's IV calculator. Once again, I'm getting mostly errors when it comes to the readout of IVs in the majority of this Raichu's stats. Its attack stat seems to have between 30 and 31 IVs. And finally, what is seemingly the most accurate of all of the IV calculators, we have the results of Cerebi's IV calculator. calculator. Apparently this Raichu has 31 HP and attack IVs, but the rest of its IVs are anything but perfect. Now the results are all over the place. For the most part, the IV calculators will give me errors when it comes to them revealing anything about the IVs and the majority of this Raichu's stats, at least outside of its attack stat. However, Cerebee's IV calculator is not without faults, because it's telling me that this level 50 Raichu does not compute. Oh, but look at this. The effort points or nature may be inaccurate. Furthermore, always track your effort points. Every calculator will return errors if your Pokemon's effort points are inaccurate. What does this mean, ladies and gents? Well, there's just one more lesson to be learned here for those who don't know how an optimal Pokemon is made, let alone the other thing behind a Pokemon's min-max capabilities. And that's effort points, which are given to a Pokemon through battles via the effort values each and every Pokemon has attached to them since the 3rd generation of Pokemon games. To make that long story short, when you defeat a Pokemon, its most dominant stat is usually its effort value. The point is, without this Raichu's known effort points, there is no way to tell how many IVs each and every one of its stats has when you're using any IV calculator, because all they're going to give you is a very inaccurate guesstimate, because they require an accurate amount of effort points on said Pokemon. You're not playing a Pokemon game that can tell you the exact IVs, at least starting with the 6th generation of Pokemon games. And you don't know the effort points that this Raichu has. So in short, you can't just say that this Raichu is perfect just because you finally know how to do basic math and multiply the amount of times you have to allegedly soft reset to get these so-called perfect IVs that this Raichu has. But hey, go ahead and make shit up, because you have a brainless echo chamber that will parrot all of your invented bullshit every chance their dumbasses get. So yeah, ladies and gents, it takes more than multiplying how many times someone has to soft reset to get an allegedly perfect Pokemon. You don't know the other important thing attached to a Pokemon, and that of course is the effort points put into those respective stats. We don't know how many effort points any of these stats have any more than we know the exact amount of IVs. So without this vital information right here, this is just another bullshit claim invented by said drama mongerer, because he has nothing but tangential, baseless, and substanceless mental gymnastics to present as quote-unquote supporting evidence. Unless you have that exact Raichu and you go to Pokemon Home, or you use it in-game to find out the exact IVs it has, as well as those effort points, you're not going to get any kind of definitive proof it's perfect in any way. One thing to support the output of the Cerebee IV calculator is the fact that this particular Raichu that he evolved from this event Pikachu right here is guaranteed to have 31 IVs and 2 randomly chosen stats. So if anything, you can only say that this Raichu has 2 guaranteed perfect IVs, because nothing else is known about this particular Raichu. That is the tale of the nothingness and ad nauseum slander behind this particular Raichu, as well as the butthurt, bitter, and underachieved scrub who after 6 years is still trying to use this guy's name for all kinds of validation.
Liar, you're a phony. You didn't use Showdown.
I did. So keep your misplaced insults. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the exact same Raichu in question. The so-called perfect Raichu. I put these exact same values into Showdown, and well, let's see what we have here. First of all, you have to assume this Raichu has 31 IVs in every single one of its stats. The keyword here being assume. That's information that hasn't been confirmed any more than the EVs on this Pokemon, and judging by this EV spread, this has to be the most bizarre competitive Raichu I have ever seen. Don't mind the Barack Obama snow. This is about the Raichu in question. Now, assuming it has 31 IVs in every single stat, it would have to have at least 36 EVs in HP, none in attack, 204 in defense, 20 in special attack, 68 in special defense, and 100 180 in speed. Why would this bizarre Raichu exist? Just like the assumed IVs on this Raichu, you would have to assume that this EV spread is what it is. Because just like the IVs on this Raichu, no one knows but Wolfglick what the EV spread even is for this so-called perfect Raichu. So no, he doesn't have proof of anything. Because like I said earlier in the video, you have to know all of this information in order to get the desired results. I'm no kind of VGC great, but I know that there's only so much you can do with a Raichu, Cantonian, or a Alolan competitively. And this EV spread, ladies and gents, isn't it. Ask this drama-mongering grifter, what exactly is the EV spread and IVs on that Raichu? That plaintiff is now the defendant because they still have a baseless allegation to prove.